this one. They weren't even in the order that he sang it. We just kind of found like the verses that we liked.
Just bring me back life when I'm wasted.
And I knew this Bring Me Back Life When I'm Wasted was a chorus to me. I thought it was great. But this is one of the first songs I've ever tracked like full like guitars and like rock and roll since I first started making music.
This episode is being supported by Tape It. If you currently use voice notes to record your ideas, you should try Tape It instead.
The beginning of it is that I was in Miami with Kodak Black recording him, and he came up with this concept. It was called EXO. He's like, I got this record called EXO, and he had a shoebox that had lyrics, and he just started playing the record on his chest, just like drums. So I have a track of this, and that's how the record started. So I'll play you just the Kodak Black acapella.
Ready?
Yeah.
I'll say, geeking off love, not the EXO. Waking up drunk, not the EXO. Just bring me back life when I'm wasted. Cause I be so low.
It's almost like a blues record, right? It's like a sad, like blues record, you know, just trying to like find some
Just bring
weed.
me back life when I'm wasted.
Because he broke up with his girl or whatever, and
Picking up drugs where we left off.
it just felt like a different kind of voice for Kodak. I brought out some guitars and we were in the studio, and we were just like playing around with this acapella. And it started with this bass line, which is actually still in the record. It's like a digital bass line. It sounds pretty crappy now that I listen to it, but this is like the original bass line, which we just made on like, I'm pretty sure this is like operator synth. So I was into this. I produced a record on the album, the Internet Money record with Juice WRLD and Trippie Redd, and the album, the first single was called Lemonade, and I really liked the guitars of it. I like this idea of like hip hop having these like John Frusciante style guitars. So we had this bass line, and then we just added these guitars into it. Here's the original. We replayed my bass line with actual guitars. And then this is the... I just love this guitar. It feels like a Chili Peppers-y kind of vibe, right?
Yeah.
So we just layered
totally.
the guitars.
And this was all done in the studio that you're talking to us from in Malibu.
Yeah, this was done, this guitar, all the guitar work, basically all I had in Miami was that bass line, because I had Kodak's vocal, which I played for you. And let me find his vocal, because we really tuned the hell out of it and then cut it up to make a song, because we just like used our best. He was actually rapping kind of a Houston screwed in chop way, where he was like, and he's like running up. He's like making the record skip as if it was like digitally already. He already like, when he was doing a freestyle, he was like cutting it up like a DJ, which is super weird, but that's kind of like the special thing about him.
If you, like so many of our guests, use voice notes to capture your ideas, you will love Tape It. It's the iPhone recording app designed specifically for musicians and songwriters. With Tape It, you can record straight from your lock screen, set markers, add notes, and even include photos of settings. Plus, there's cloud sync, you can import your old voice notes, and to stay on top of it all, Tape It has great labeling features like automatic instrument detection. And all of the above is free. If you currently use voice notes, switching to Tape It is a no-brainer. And there's more. If you upgrade to Tape It Pro, it uses 2 microphones on your iPhone along with gentler dynamic compression to give a much more natural sound than any of the usual apps. And we have a huge offer for you. 50% off Tape It Pro if you upgrade now. Just go to the app and select Tape Notes in the onboarding process, or click the link in the description below.
This is the rough acapella.
Eating up tails got me dreaming lucid. Just bring me back life when I'm wasted.
So even though he just rapped it basically a cappella over like a beatbox and like, you know, hitting us off his chest, we had like this long acapella that you could see. I just kind of like time stretched everything and found that my favorite part. So some parts would be here, then we back up into like this one. They weren't even in the order that he sang it. We just kind of found like the verses that we liked.
Just bring me back life when I'm wasted.
And I knew this Bring Me Back Life When I'm Wasted was a chorus to me. I thought it was great.
Bring me back life when I'm wasted. Just bring me back life when I'm wasted.
and really tuned it and actually made a new, melody for him because it wasn't really a melodic. It was.
Bring back life when I'm wasted.
So you can see like we time stretch this one and then put it up like 2 points. So it's like.
Wasted.
So give him like some harmonic vibe, And from that, like when I played it for Wetzel, who's the country guy, who's like a Texas. So we built the song off of just like me kind of like cutting Kodak's voice and changing the pitch and format to make a new melody out of it. I played the idea for and he's like, damn, I like that hook. So then it was a hip hop beat originally, just like this. Just some distorted 808s. This is like a typical trap production, right?
Yeah.
And then we went to Denton, Texas to record Ko's band, and they kind of replayed what I did in a rock and roll style. And he has like basically the drummer was like ripping.
Everybody's problem of mine.
From the drum track.
The pain will ketamine in
So it goes like this, from the transition from trap to rock right here. How does a bass player play this? That's the synth guitar. Real guitar here. Rhythm guitar that Ko played. And then find these drums here somewhere. As you can see, my sessions are really fucking crappy looking. Like they're just groups into groups into groups. It's the guy that's tracked like a metronome. And I just didn't have time stretch or anything. The guy was like a fucking clock. And then the bass line comes in.
I threw away the bullets and I gave it away. Life is so much sweeter when you taste it. Bring me back to life when I waste it.
So you kind of hear how Ko wrote to the Kodak part and like did his own thing, and then basically me and Ko wrote this first verse and like had to track the guitars, and then we met up in New York and redid everything and fine-tuned it, wrote a second verse. But this is one of the first songs I've ever tracked like full like guitars and like rock and roll since I first started making music.